And we are rolling on October 3rd for part 2 of our respect speeches. And we're about to hear from Oriana, who is going to speak, even though the sunshine is not shining very much right now. She's going to share with us her experience practicing respect.
Okay, well, hi, my name is Oriana.
Hi, Oriana.
Hello. So last week at our first communications class, we all shared what we thought respect was, and we shared about the people that respected us the most. And I thought it was interesting that most of us have very similar ideas about what respect is, and we usually receive it from the same kind of people, whether it be family or close friends, but it's all pretty much very similar ideas about this. And so when we had to do the experiment, I thought of that in a bigger context, and how growing up we are taught to respect, and we're taught that you have to earn your respect by respecting others, or that sometimes you have to give respect where it's due, you have to treat others the way you want to be treated. And we are raised thinking of that like our whole lives. So I was just thinking about how true that would be if I started practicing the nonverbal respect, and whether people would appreciate it or not. And so I did it with different types of people that were different types of closeness to me. And so the first one was really good. It was with my friend Jose. He's a really good friend here from the university. And usually when I hang out with him, it's very fun, it's very funny, we just joke around a lot, we don't really get serious a lot, but I thought that this time, whenever he tells me a story about his day, or something that has happened to him, I was not going to interrupt him with a funny joke, but I was just going to listen to him, I was going to look him in the eye, and just hear him out. And I was surprised about how serious it got with that story. He ended up sharing a lot with me about what he believed were his good friends and his bad friends, and how one of his friends had been disrespectful to him earlier. And at the end of that talk, well, he thanked me for listening, which is something that he hadn't done before, because I guess maybe I hadn't been as good as a listener to him before. And so I think that was really good. He obviously was really grateful for me showing him respect that one day. And on the other hand, with someone else, I spent the weekend with my girlfriend, and naturally I believe that she probably expects me to respect her just because of how close we are and how much we share. So I don't think she noticed a lot. The only thing she noticed was that at one point she told me that I was looking at her weird, and that if I had something to say to her, and she asked me, and I was like, no, not really, I'm just listening to you and paying attention to you. But other than that, she didn't notice, and I thought that was funny, because I thought she would, and I thought she would be like grateful like my friend, because she's close, just like him. But I guess that leads me to the next event, which was kind of the ugly event. So, and this was with acquaintances that I was just meeting. A lot of people did not seem to reciprocate that respect. I noticed that a lot of people, like mentioned before, would get on their phones, or they wouldn't make the same eye contact that you made with them. And at one point, this guy that was talking to me, and I was just really giving him the time of the day, like just looking at him and listening to him, thought I was like flirting with him. So I thought the responses were kind of weird with acquaintances. They didn't return like the respect, or they just took it like in some strange way. And that brought me back to the question that I had before, like, why do people have these expectations of how much respect they deserve? And I came to the conclusion that depending on their relationship with you, they expect different things. So my friend expects a certain amount of respect, and when I go above and beyond what he usually expects, he is obviously going to be very grateful, and he's going to love me for it. And as for your significant other or your family, I think they already expect a very high level of respect. and they might not be at all surprised if you're already doing a good job at it when you try to go above and beyond that. And as for acquaintances, it's kind of sad, but I do think that, like it was mentioned before, that now a lot of us don't even expect this kind of nonverbal respect because we're so used to people looking away from us or being concentrated on other things like our phones and all that. So that was my experience with it, and yeah.
Thank you. Okay, where are we?
It's me.
Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm Tim.
Hi, Tim.
I really liked your speech. That you did a good job of using personal anecdotes, and I thought you did a good job of using your hands and motions in a way that helped and wasn't distracting.
I think you did a really good job with moving around and stuff. I just noticed a few little filler words, and sometimes you talked a little fast, but that's okay. Yeah.
All right. Oriana, you talked about growing up respect is earned, not given, and treat others as you want to be treated, and you talked about different levels of respect, and then you talked about the thing we did in the class. I guess this was sort of an observational preview of what the assignment was. What I didn't get from you was a strong verbal case for your audience to say of what you would be doing in the speech. I will be telling you about the good, the bad, the ugly, and what I learned in a nice, loud, different voice, so you give them a roadmap and something easy to follow. Similarly, so now let me go to the good. And you told us a good story about your friend Jose, and you actually listened to him and thought, as you were listening, you didn't think of silly jokes to tell and ways to interrupt him, but let him speak, which is a wonderful thing to learn. And you do that when you're saying, I respect you. You're not thinking of, oh, let me think of how I can interrupt them and be brilliant or stupid or whatever, but, just, listen. And that got a lot out of him, which you noticed and he noticed, so that was positive. As for the sort of good but sort of bad, or maybe ugly, I don't know, was your girlfriend, is it Metzley?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She just noticed you were looking at her too much and she didn't like that. And you just explained to her that, she thought it was kind of confrontational. You have something to say to me? It's kind of strange, and you explained to her, I'm just listening to you. And I guess she let it go at that, huh? On the ugly, yes, we've had this a lot where men, if your heart is pure and you're just giving off respectful vibration, but there are men that they're lonely. The heart is a lonely hunter, I'm sure you know, and there are men that are just, a smile is all it takes. She's in love with me. She wants to date me. And, you have to be careful in practicing this around the wrong person. And you have to have a ready response to, you want my phone number, oh, I've got a boyfriend, I'm engaged, or whatever, a little white lie, get out of it. Safely, if you want to, stay in the power stance. I wish I had seen you, and what I learned was a little light. The tie-back was okay. On your presentation, relax your arms, and I'd like to see you walk 3 times over there 5, and then 3 back to center, okay? So that's what I'd like to see you do. Okay, see, we're way over time. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much. If you need a syllabus, come and see me, and I'll talk to you about it. No, if you didn't go today, we will go Go next class, yes.
Listen, I just had a quick question.
Yeah.
So because we're doing that next class, does that mean everything else is bumped back? Like we don't have to prepare the student introduction?
Yeah, we'll start doing the introduction, but yeah.
Okay. Do we need to prepare it for the next class, or
Yeah, you should start preparing it, but yeah.
is there more information about that somewhere in the syllabus? Yeah, I know.
The introduction? Yeah, there's a prompt.
Okay.
Just follow the prompt. I'll talk about it next time.
Okay.
There's the prompt. Fine, we do the syllabus.
So we don't have to prepare everything.
My name's Patricia. I rolled over the weekend.
Okay, what a wise decision. Oh, this gets stable.
Oh my god.
Oh, you did it one-sided. Oh, nice. Good call. Yeah, okay, good. All right. Well, sorry, it's kind of thick. It's one-sided. Yeah. Yeah.
The syllabus is
Wait a minute. Where did he run? He ran off. He didn't run off the right one. Yeah.
Our student introduction are those due next classes since we didn't finish these, so we're going to do them later?
We're going to do these next time. So yeah.
Okay, so don't do the student introduction
No.
speech yet?
No, just start the introductory speech since you've done the intro speech. So.
Okay, so we just have the